I've got a simple 3-minute movement routine that is perfect for people who have chronic low back pain in environments when they're sitting a lot. No matter where you are, this routine is perfect for you. Before we jump in, if you're in the gym now, you're working out, you're trying to build strength around pain or trying to do it so you don't keep having pain, but you always end up experiencing low back pain, maybe 48 hours, 24 hours later after your workout. It's a very common place to be. And the number one place you've got to start is how you're structuring and building your workout routine. I put together a free guide that maps out exactly how to do this, from how you structure your workouts, the exercise choices that you're making, and how to modify exercises to fit your specific needs. It's yours free. Just go to fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. There'll be a link to that free guide in the description below. Now for this video, I want to set up exactly how I want you to be doing these exercises before you actually see them. I want you to set a timer for 1 minute for each exercise that I show you. I'm gonna say that with also saying, if you do it for a minute and you're experiencing symptoms, you're experiencing pain, tension, tightness, things are growing, it's too much time. Have the wisdom, have the understanding to dial things back. I might say a minute for each exercise, but if it's 45 seconds or 30 seconds or even 20 seconds, for each one that fits you best, go with what you think is best, go with what you feel is giving you the results that we're talking about. Now let me show you how to do these exercises. The first exercise we're gonna cover is the pelvic rocks forward and back. So you can be in the gym just like I'm here, on a bench, you could be in your office, you can be at your dinner table, wherever you're at, on an airplane or at the movies, wherever you are, you can do these specific moves to bring relief. So the first one we're gonna do is just simple pelvic rock. So we're going to take our pelvis and we're going to tip it forward. We're trying to kind of dump as if you had a bucket of water and you're just dumping that water out onto the floor in front of you. And then we're going to tip it back. What you want to try to do is isolate it to just the pelvis. So it's not going to be a ton of movement. If you're really stiff in this area, it's not going to be a ton of movement going back and forth. But for now, all you're going to start with is forward and back tilts. The key with this is what you want to make sure you're doing correctly is don't push into pain. For example, if I push too far forward, I'll start to kind of get a weird pinching sensation in my low back. That's normal. You're kind of hitting that end range. Now for you, your end range might be a lot more shallow where you can't dump your pelvis all the way forward or vice versa. So for you to be safe and to teach your brain that what you're doing is a good thing, you have to stay within your pain threshold. So you'll go rock forward, go to the point where you start to feel that discomfort, back off a little bit, go back the opposite way, follow the same rules, and you're gonna tip forward and back, following the rule of making sure that you don't punch too far into that pain threshold. Now the second exercise are pelvic side to side rocks. So what we're gonna do here, similar situation, similar strategy as the forward and back tilts, but now we're going to rock up to the right and up to the left. What we wanna try to focus on is trying to get our hip to hike and bring it back down, left hip to hike and bring it back down. What you're gonna feel is a lot of like the obliques being contracted as well as the QL. A few things you wanna kind of feel for to see if it changes anything. One is if you're feeling some pinching or some negative sensations as you're hiking that right hip up, adjust where your pelvis is at. You might be too far forward where you're kind of defaulting into like an overextended position. So bring yourself back into more of a neutral position. Try to like either put your hands here to kind of give you some feedback, and then you hike to see if that changes anything when you go to hike that hip. Relax, get all those muscles to calm down, and then hike the other side. And you're just gonna rock back and forth, hiking each hip as best you can, activating these muscles on the side, relaxing them, activating these muscles on the side, and relaxing them. And you're gonna go back and forth. The key is not to overcompensate. We're not trying to do too much of this type of stuff. Really try to isolate it to just the hips. Respect the pain threshold. Remember, if you are going too high and you're feeling some pinching, getting some negative sensations, back off. The whole goal with this exercise is to keep things nice and calm, nice and relaxed. If you feel tension, tightness, restriction building as you're rocking back and forth, you gotta calm it back down. You're doing too much, too many reps, going too high. It should be a calming sensation that you experience. Third exercise are extensions and rounds with the entire low back being involved. So the way I like to do these is I try to keep my body, or you should be trying to keep your body in as safe of a position as possible. You know, we're trying to deal with chronic low back pain, sensitivity. Your body and brain are kind of in this fight or flight mode, trying to protect your low back. So the last thing you want to do is just start cranking through some positions or movements that are going to irritate you, right? Create this response in your body that is signaling danger, like signaling your body to contract and be restricted. So what I like to do is try to relax and put my forearms onto my thighs. This is a naturally comfortable, relaxed position, right? There's not much danger going on here for someone who has chronic low back pain. So from here, what we're gonna do is get comfortable. So if you're in like a higher stool type of chair, you might have to bring your feet down to where you can have your feet planted on the ground. Or if you're on a couch, you're on a lower couch, you can kind of have your feet planted on the ground. But regardless, be in this comfortable kind of a 90-degree hip angle is ideal. From there, we're going to round the back. So we're not trying to push or stretch. We're just trying to get as much rounding in the low back as possible. You might have more rounding than me. You might have an excessive round. It doesn't really matter how far or how much you can round. What we're trying to do is just get comfortable taking our body through flexion and then coming through gently and then going into more of an extended position. So we're not trying to crank on this. We're not trying to get anything to contract or spasm. The goal with this exercise is to go in and out of these different types of contractions, right? Where I'm in extension, I'm contracting my low back muscles, my upper back, my mid back, contracting them gently. And then as I come out of it, I'm trying to actually relax and let these muscles completely let go. Oftentimes when you're dealing with chronic low back pain for years and years and years, is you kind of get stuck on. Your back muscles get stuck in this overprotective kind of hypertonic state of mind, I guess you can say, if your back had a mind of its own. But essentially what's happening is your brain's like, hey, we have to protect, we have to guard everything. So you get stuck being tight. So what you don't want to do is contract, right? And then stay contract, and then we're trying to now stretch those contracted muscles, and guess what that does? Your body and brain say, this is dangerous, and they contract more. It creates more tension and tightness. So you may not be able to go as much extension. You may not be able to go as much flexion, or it might be more for you. The goal with this is to find a range of motion that is actually really gentle and really safe and allows you to move the lumbar spine, rocking the pelvis back and forth without any negative effects. If you're experiencing a negative effect, you're pushing too much, you're doing too many reps, you're contracting too much, or you're going too fast. Now, this final tip is more of like a bonus thing that you need to understand when it comes to years and years of chronic low back pain. Your muscles and your tissues are not the sole cause, or your disc herniations or bulges or stenosis or degenerative discs or whatever it might be, is not the sole reason that you have chronic low back pain. It's just not, right? You can have these abnormalities and not be in chronic pain. So the key with this is you have to learn to shift your thinking around what strengthening exercise, what stretch is going to take my symptom away, and what is going to treat the core issue that I'm specifically dealing with. Oftentimes, when it comes to chronic low back pain, so years and years of pain, we're dealing with a central nervous system issue as well as a mechanical issue, tissue issue, muscles, tension, tightness, etc. So this last step is I always want to encourage people to encourage themselves through movement and give themselves a sense of confidence before they go off and start walking around and moving things. You're probably like, what in the world are you talking about? What I suggest people to do, if they've been sitting for long periods of time, I want them to do that movement, those 3 exercises, and then I want you to go into your brain, right? And I want you to tell yourself that you're gonna be fine, to relax. And with the way I like to do this is I will lounge in my chair a little bit after doing those movements. I'll lounge in my chair, I'll sit back, I'll kind of just hang out. No good posture, I'm slouching in a negative position that most people would say. And I'm just breathing, I'm trying to let go of tension, let go of just restriction and tightness, and just relax. And before I get up and go, I take a deep breath and I say, you're gonna be okay. And I stand up and I start walking. And more specifically, once I stand up and start walking, I'm going to continue that breathing. Not, oh no, not do that. I want to get up, start walking, and as I'm walking, I'm continuing that repetition of, hey, you're good, you're safe, your back is strong, and I wanna keep walking. I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna take deep breaths, and it's gonna stop that subconscious triggering that happens when people are dealing with chronic low back pain. It's like our brain subconsciously triggers tension, pain, symptoms. So what you wanna do is focus your efforts on creating a place of safety, building tolerance in movement, create a place of safety. And then when you get up to go walk, don't forget about what you just did. No, continue to confirm and affirm the safety and the progress that you're making, okay? That is like a next level healing strategy, because most people like superficial, most people like stretches and exercises, but I promise you, after working with hundreds and hundreds of people all around the world, overcoming years of chronic low back pain, it is not just mechanical. You have to understand and respect the central nervous system at the same time. This 3-minute exercise routine is great for getting quick relief. If you're in the movies, if you're at a restaurant, you're on a plane, you're at your office, this is a great strategy to implement right away to kind of calm things back down. In most cases, people who have been in pain for years and years and years, this is not going to fix the core issue, but it's going to give you a chance to understand the importance of movement to get a more quick response in the body. If you want your own personal customized strategy to get out of pain, not just treat it with symptom treatment strategies or short-term fixes, and you want a step-by-step approach, the best way to do that is to jump on a free strategy call to see if what I do inside of my Strength and Pain Relief Accelerator program would be a good fit for you. It is not a good fit for everybody, but I can easily understand where you're at and whether or not it would be on that call. If you're interested, just go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply, or just go to the link below this video here to grab a time for us to chat. Thanks for watching. God bless, and I'll see you on the next episode.